Welcome back, everyone. I am AkemiTCG. I have a guest with us. His name is Pat C.
Hey guys, he's asked me to help him with his ban list prediction.
Yeah, he's the Unchained player that was on this channel. He's been winning multiple local events left and right and topping, right?
Yeah, all those events going on, remote duels, not cheating, stuff like that.
Yep, obviously they're not cheating. So today we have a comprehensive ban list of what we think should get hit.
There's a lot of controversy, but in the end, we have a lot of cards to talk about.
All right, hope you guys are ready. Buckle in, and just at the end of the day, these are our opinions. Feel free to go in the comments and just say your own piece if you like, because I know all these ban list discussion videos always generate some sort of discussion. Negative
or positive comments, we'll look at them and not respond regardless.
Solid. All right, the first card on the list, Cyber Angel Benten. How do you feel about this card?
Well, Drytrons already have 20 plus search cards. I don't see how, limiting or banning Benten will make a huge impact with Drytron right now. It will make it probably just a tiny bit less consistent, but I don't think it's a huge impact. I don't think it's necessary. I think it's more of an abusable extra engine that's unnecessary in Drytron, but I think it can get limited or banned, and Drytron will still be a playable deck, but it won't be as consistent getting their Herald of Perfection turn one. And I think they'll actually commit more to like the Drytron rituals overall. But yeah,
I think
it's kind of ridiculous.
Because we're getting the new Exceed. Like, my bad, guys. I'm fixing up the little tabs here. Because we're getting the new Exceed in Lightning Overdrive that does negate spells and traps, and it does give Drytron the extra edge that it already currently has. I feel like it should be hit in some way, shape, or form in Benten, because it also got released as a rare in the most recent set, Genesis Impact, that it should probably get limited. And I'm sticking to that.
Yeah, I personally don't see it getting banned, but limited seems a little bit more realistic.
All right, next card. Thunder Dragon Colossus, the King of Thunders, the Ash Blossom on wheels, the Thunder King Ryo. That's super easy to summon. I think it should be limited. What do you think?
Yo, bring it back. I want it. I love this card. It's people get rid of it regardless. It's not. If you guys think, if you're one of those people that complain about, VFDs on the field, just get rid of it. Same thing. Like, Colossus is worse. Yeah, sure, it's easier to summon, but I mean, it's a mistake on legs, and people are special summoning outs without even having to search their deck right now. And I mean, turn one Drident Zeus is just such a huge thing. You don't need to search involving like any like ridiculous plays. Maybe in like Dogmatica. But I mean, Eldritch is a huge deck right now.
Mm-hmm.
It had plenty of outs for stuff that even get around the the destruction effect, the prevention for destruction effect, which it's a big deal. But I definitely think that there's a lot of outs to Colossus right now, and Thunder Dragons don't really have a strategy. Well, they still do, but I don't think it added a good level of consistency that the deck kind of required, and I think at one seems like a fair number.
Yeah, I agree too. And also nowadays, a lot of people are just main decking Kaiju. So this is Kaiju's are literally an easy out to Colossus.
Kaiju's get rid of anything.
Literally anything. Besides, like, obviously, the vanity stuff. All right, Dewloren. I don't think we need to talk too much about this. It got an errata, so it's going to go back to 3.
You guys will play Ice Barriers for like a month.
Not even competitively, just casually too. Somebody like...
I like Synchros too.
GIF this video and be like, yeah, this dude said it wasn't competitive. And then like 3 weeks later, it's like won the extravaganza. Electrumnite. I don't think this card should go back. I know a lot of people say this card should come back, but this card was way too strong for Pendulums. It did everything for that deck. I know Triff Game is going to disagree, but how do you feel about it?
I just don't like Endymion. Like, I think that and Zephyrs, they sit on nothing but constant floodgates and negation. It really does promote that. I wish Electrumite could come back because I like the support that it gives, but like Pendulum themselves, their main strategy is literally going first or going second. And if you go first, they usually set up with a consistent board of negate and stop stop everything and just resummon it next turn. It's literally just a giant, you know, it's a dead horse at this point. And honestly, I don't think Electrumite should come back either.
Yeah, I mean, the only way I feel like it would come back is like they're just reprinting it in tandem with the new Metaphor support. But the thing is, the deck or Electrumite never really shined the hardest with Metaphors. It was mostly with Endymion and the whole Pendulum package.
Magicians would always come back, always.
Yep, absolutely.
No matter what.
Absolutely. All right, next card, and we probably might disagree with this one. Zoodiac Drident. I think this card should go to 2. Legitimately think this card can go to 2. And the reason why I say this is Zeus, even though it is Zeus Turbo, I feel that once you get rid of that Drident, once you, let's say like you banish for Ice Dragon's Prison, even Call by the Grave, I know it's at 1, but like once you literally get rid of this card, they lose half of their firepower. This deck relies on Drident.
The only reason I would not agree with that is the fact that I think Zeus at 3 right now gives it an unfair advantage with being able to set up both combos in one play without. Essentially, you have to extend, but you can still going second make Zeus and Dryden with Dryden at 2, and I think before anything, like that's so ridiculous. And I don't know, Zoodiac itself is already a consistent deck, and setting up Dryden or just being able to go into Zeus turn 1 or going second is just, the deck is as consistent as it could possibly be without being, I guess, too ridiculous. I mean, their whole engine is just 1-card combos, and you have to neuter the whole engine to make it a fair play. I can see Dryden coming back, but I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
I would probably be more inclined to just want it at, or not even feel bad about it being limited or banned and like having it restricted or semi-limited if Zeus wasn't a card. But now they have Zeus, and honestly,
it makes it a lot easier.
The deck abuses the crap out of it.
I mean, that's literally the best deck for it. That's literally the best deck to play Zeus in.
And I'm just...
Because any monster they summon, they can be like, okay, stack. Now 4 stacks under Zeus. And
the deck already abuses many mechanics, and you can play almost any draw card in that deck. It's one of the most consistent decks in my opinion. And it always really has been. It's just they had to keep creeping back the cards on the ban list until, you know, eventually they got their engine back. And I can see Dryden coming back, but I don't necessarily agree with it.
Alright, the next card, Firewall Dragon. We didn't get the errata yet, so I'm pretty sure we both agree that it should still stay banned. Until we get the errata, then the ban list afterwards.
I think it's fine with the errata. I don't see a big deal with it, but yeah, no.
Like, we don't have the card yet, so it should not be unbanned until...
Let's not do that little test the water things for fun.
For a month?
I mean, we got remote duel's cool, like whatever. You know, I couldn't care less what the ban list is until we get real events back, but, you know... No. I don't want to test Firewall.
No.
We know how it's going to be.
Elpy, I would still argue that Dragon Link's one of the best decks, and I'm pretty sure there's not much deliberation about this. Just being able to summon any dragon from the deck for free, and the only real restriction is while this card is on the field, you can only summon dragons. That's not really a real restriction. So I think this card can finally go. What do you think?
I'm sick of Dragon Links. I'm tired of them being the best deck and the most consistent deck and the most playable mid-range deck. Thanks. All the guard dragons are just...
I think Pisty is the most fair one, in my opinion.
Yeah, but they didn't need it. I don't know. Honestly, it should have been banned a long time ago. Goodbye.
Harper Librarian. I think in the Discord, we had some sort of disagreement, or like a person asked if this card should go back to 3, and to be quite honest, I'm not quite sure if it should, because I don't know the answer to this question. And the question is, if you have multiple librarians on the field and you summon another synchro monster, do you draw 1 for each librarian, or do you only draw once? And if the answer is the former, then I believe it should stay limited. If the answer is the latter, then I don't really see a problem with this card being at 3. Do you agree?
I mean, Quasar and Shooting Star turbo decks are always going to be a thing. Other than that, I don't see people other than, actually abusing the TG Librarian mechanic and, making either TGs or a turbo sync run deck where you would see much play with it. I think it can come back, to be perfectly honest. I don't think it would make a huge splash in any meta relevant, deck right now, but it's definitely a combo that someone could pick up and actually create, being, a potential lock. Or, like I said, turboing out like a Quasar, just huge synchros that win games. Like, that card was always a great extender for it.
Right.
And, I mean, plants aren't a huge thing anymore, but, like, back in the day, plant synchro was huge because
like
of...
Tengu?
Yeah, because of TG Hyper Librarian. So, I mean, I think the game's evolved past that state where, we don't even have that many decks that synchro into 5s right now. But I could see the potential where making it either semi or unlimited would probably make more combos show up, but I could see it getting semi or unlimited. I don't see it being a huge difference or just making any type of impact per se, but it is an extender card.
I feel like the most viable way to use this card right now is you enter Librarian and Needle Fiber. You Needle Fiber into Formula, draw 2 on your opponent's turn, then hopefully you draw some sort of hand trap, and if not, you go into like Black Rose or Moonlight and just like spaghetti your opponent. That's not a bad play. That's really not.
It's a good deck idea.
Oh boy.
Rose players, remember that.
Oh yeah. Maxi. Oh boy.
You almost forgot about it.
Maxi. I don't... every ban list...
There was one card left that he had to pick, and I'm like, you're forgetting the best card.
Every ban list, I already say the same... Every prediction, I always say the same thing. I do not think this card will ever come back to the TCG.
I think this card should come back to 3.
It's either... So, the community is always going to be divided. It's either at 3 or at 0. I argue it's at 0. It should stay at 0 because it makes control decks way too good, and it literally shuts off like a whole entire archetype of decks. Like, you can't play combo. I would argue if you have Maxi at 3, you should have Call by the Grave at 3.
I also agree that Called By should come back, which is why I think Maxi is okay. Because honestly, it's a controlled floodgate. It's only for the turn. It's honestly putting any deck that requires to take the combo route to look out for and set up for specific counteracting plays. I don't think that benefits anything besides, yes, it probably will be a staple in every deck.
Literally.
That's the only controversy I can see, to think about. But like going forward, with how fast the game is now, I think it's one of the, the lesser of two evils. You have to pick one to balance out the other, and then eventually you got to fight fire with fire when it gets too strong. So. I think eventually it will be time for it to come back, and I would like to see this card eventually back at 3. Just if we need that to keep, all the combos in check. I honestly think it's appropriate.
I find it interesting that...
And eventually we're going to get Crossout Designator anyways, and then we're going to have Call By. It's, eventually we'll want the consistency factor without getting, like, overrun by one combo player because we don't have enough outs, because everything's too ridiculous at one point.
I think I'm gonna go on like on the other side of the argument here. I find it very interesting that instead of like unbanning Maxi, they gave us brand new cards that deal with combo decks. Dark Ruler No More, Nibiru. Those 2 cards are actually substantial in like the previous couple. Even today, Nibiru is still really good. Dark Ruler is still really good, depending on the deck you played against. And instead of giving us Maxi back, they decided to give us those, and like it makes it more skilled in a sense. And I think the reason why they gave us those cards. Maxi doesn't necessarily need skill or take skill to play. You can literally drop Maxi the moment your opponent special summons a monster, and they have to deliberate if they want to take the Maxi challenge or not.
Right, but it can go either way.
Right.
And some decks don't even need to benefit. Like if you have that initial strategy that there's this meta is so combo heavy that Maxi is gonna just initially stop turns, then that's one thing. But there's always a triangle format in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where there's like literally 3 major decks or
Eternal.
Or just literally the same combos in different decks. Good stuff deck. eventually everything becomes to the point where one combo in Yu-Gi-Oh is so ridiculous because there's no way to stop it. Maxi, I think, kind of evens that out for strategies that aren't necessarily, you know, the game could end in, you know, whoever won the high die roll because they were able to start with Savage Dragon, a bounce back to the deck, and then at the same time being able to just end on Herald as well, that floodgates the field at the same time. You can end on so many different plays with different monsters. In Virtual World, literally just going into Calamities turn 1. Like we have that available where it just simply skips your turn. We've had, like, Shockmaster's been banned for a reason, but we still have a Calamities. It does the same thing, and I think Maxi puts that strategy in check where it kind of balances out with how fast and, you know, combo centric the game has gotten.
Okay. There's definitely going to be always ongoing arguments on.
I made sure to have the argument ready for you.
All right, I know everybody's going to comment down below about how they feel about Maxi, but my position is not changing. Absolutely not. Next card is Miscellaneosaurus. I didn't think this card was an issue still in this format, and then I went to my locals and there was 97,000 Dino players, at least that's what it felt like, and this card is really good. Drop it, and then they're like, okay, rest of the turn, all the dinosaur monsters in the field, you can't Ash, you can't Gamma, you can't, just straight up unaffected during the main phase. And there's just not enough people who are playing battle traps to warrant anything. And the fact that literally during the main phase, that's when they go off and they do the whole combo and it goes completely uninterrupted. That's nuts. It's a crazy card. And you can search it. There's like 3 ways to search it.
Yeah, I think honestly it being even limited still makes it a powerful card. Like, it's there's how many ways to search it? Like 6?
Like Fossil Dig, Oviraptor,
then
you can pop.
They're getting Scrap Raptor next pack to
something like that.
Turbo it even faster.
I think it's time. Dinos had their major run, and they also got a reprint of the structure deck, so that usually means something's about to happen, something's gonna get hit, and I feel that Miss should be the one to get hit.
Okay.
Nadir Servant. You know, I played Dominica. I think this card is busted. I think it should be at semi, and then over time, it's gonna move to limited. This card is literally a +2 in 1. It does way too many things in 1 card. Sending a card from extra deck to the graveyard is like barely a cost. That's just a feels good moment. And then you're searching Ecclesia, Fleur de Lis, Ashian even if you're playing that. It just does too many things for the deck, and I think it's way too good.
Konami has this habit of making one in like every 3 archetypes that they make one spell card that's just completely ridiculous that has no actual, like, there's no limitation to it. And after Engage, this is the next card to come where you're just like, certain cards are limited and banned that do worse than cards than these. And this card's at 3. This card is always either a +2 or you're getting a free monster and a free special summon and a free destruction all in 1, or you're just getting a free setup because the extra deck is so abusable right now. I really want this card limited or semi-limited, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't even do anything with it.
Dude, thankfully it's not even a... Imagine it said Dogmatica Servant. You know how busted that would be? Ecclesia just for Nadir Servant. That's busted. Alright, the next one, it's going to be controversial as well. I had to sit down and think about this for a little bit. I think Red Ice Fusion should stay at 3, but I think Dragoon probably should go. This card is just really, really impressive. I mean, if you watch the Subterra guy play, it was just really free. I don't think Vertex is the problem. I think Dragoon itself is a really, really strong card. I know you guys are like, oh, just Kaiju it, just droplet it, do whatever, right? But if you don't have those cards, you're probably going to lose. Like, there's a lot of decks that inherently can't out this card. And that's just a big issue, too. Like, because you can argue, oh, you have your Kaijus? Just Kaiju it, dude. But I'm like, the same argument can literally be made for any of these cards. The Colossus, just Kaiju, dude. You know what I mean?
So, I mean, I think this card's really powerful, but without Red Eyes Fusion being, I guess, even a card. So like even limited, I think it should just be banned, because honestly, unless you're playing specifically to summon this card, which still is kind of hard because you want to get the full value out of Dragoons, which requires you to play Red Eyes, Dark Magician,
2 bricks,
and fuse them both to get the full-fledged effect. Red Eyes Fusion enables that. Dragoons is actually such a powerhouse of a card, but initially it's really hard to summon without Red Eyes, Fusion Dragon, Red Eyes Fusion, and I don't think any other polymerization type or fusion type card gives it that much consistency than Red Eyes Fusion does. I honestly think that we're better off with Red Eyes Fusion banned and Dragoons Unlimited, because at that point I wouldn't see anyone playing Dragoons regardless. Red Eyes, the deck itself, isn't really a meta deck or really even that high of a tier deck right now to be considerate, but at the same time Dragoons is still a really OP card if it's easy to summon, and initially it looks like it's not supposed to be that easy. Maybe they did do that on purpose and they didn't realize it was going to make that big of a splash, but the card's dumb ridiculous. I agree. I absolutely agree.
But like without Red Eyes Fusion, right? Let's say you use Magical Eyes Fusion, you don't have to use
I need to be in the grave. I need to be in the graveyard.
Yeah, you don't have to use the Red Eyes Black Dragon if you use Magical Eyes Fusion. Only Red Eyes Fusion has a stipulation where you have to use Red Eyes Black Dragon. So you can argue like, I can use Dark Magician and Phantasmate to summon.
Yeah, but then you don't
Dragoon.
get both destruction effects.
Yeah, you only get one.
Twice.
You only get one, but
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, you can utilize full-fledged effect with Red Eyes Fusion alone. I mean, that's why he's so ridiculous, is because you drop both normal monsters without doing anything. I mean, yeah, you run 2 bricks, but at the end of the game, you're running 2. The pros outweigh the cons. I mean, you're running 2 bricks, but no matter what, you get a card that still gets rid of them. Like, as long as they're not in the graveyard before you start getting your Red Eyes Fusion combo going, then no matter what, even if you draw them, you can still win the game by summoning Dragoons because of Red Eyes Fusion. Like, I've won a game by surviving a negation and then tactile Townsing their Red Eyes Dragoon with a whole full-fledged Adamantipator board and just blew them up, blew both their synchros and links up. I believe there was a Savage Dragon. Dealt at least like 6,000 damage just by blowing up cards, and then attacking with a 4,000 attacking monster that they stole.
Dude, that's a feels good moment.
The card is nuts, but I agree. Like, regardless if Red Eyes Dragoons gets banned or Red Eyes Fusion gets banned, I think one of the two should. I would go the other way around, but I would be happy regardless. So I'll agree with you for the time being, but that's my 2 cents.
Well, like, I just don't. I'd rather them not to hit like the whole entire Red Eyes engine, because I feel bad for that. Like, that one guy at Locals is like, how am I supposed to summon Red Eyes / Dragon
deck
without Red Eyes Fusion? Alright, next card, Scarlet, Sanguine. Eldlixir gonna get hit some way, shape, or form. I really hope they do. It's either Curse Eldland or Scarlet Sanguine. Scarlet Sanguine says deck or graveyard, so it's just literally a freebie. I think it should get limited. That's it.
I would rather just have the Golden Eldland, just because.
Oh, hit the Lord itself?
No.
Oh, the Curse Eldland.
No, Cursed.
Curse Eldland.
I would just get Cursed, because honestly, it's 2 effects in 1. I think that's the card that truly like turbos of the deck. The deck is normally just trap heavy. Like, there's a lot of outs to Sanguine right now, but I would hit the Searcher, or like at first, and then maybe just to 1, and then I'd be fine. I
think if Eldland got hit to 1, it'd be a lot more manageable. But
yeah, the Sanguine is a powerful card, but I don't agree with the limited. But I'm sick of Eldritch, but I don't know. I don't think it's OP. I just think it's consistent.
And that's the whole point of the deck. It literally pluses off a playing Droplet. I think that's insane. Our 2 Kings return. Diagonals at 1. Masterpiece is gone. And we literally hit like Card of Demise. What's the other draw card? Into the Void. So they're not that consistent. And I feel like even with True King's return, the deck's not gonna do anything, so might just give it back to them.
Yeah, sure, why not? I'll see how True Kings keep going slowly but surely.
Speaking of True Kings, VFD gone. Ban. I don't want to see this card ever again, but they're probably not gonna hit it. They're probably not gonna hit it.
It's so cheap. Just hit it, Konami.
Oh, who wants to do bets in the comments?
Cheap.
Who wants to do bets in the comments if they're gonna hit VFD or not?
Just get rid of it. It's cheap. We're not making any money off of it. Neither are you.
Yeah, skip a turn. And the same way with Utopic Zexal, it's skip a turn. Both of them literally do the same thing.
If people would just take the Nibiru challenge and go 4, the deck would be consistent. You just win more games. Nobody's making Nibiru right now. Just go into 4 machines and then just go over it.
Yeah, easy, dude.
Everybody likes going into 3. That's why it sucks, because everybody decides to be scared of Nibiru, and then you can just literally just go 4. Skip 2 turns. You'll win.
Because it's detached to and they can't activate anything, right?
No, because I always see that and I'm always like, the card isn't that good right now because everyone's just using it for like going to 3, get 1 negate, you can run it over.
But at least like with VFD, right? VFD virtuals, they end on Chuchi and VFD. So if you're like, oh, if you drop it or chalice it, and let's say you drop it, you don't send a trap, they can Chuchi get rid of their VFD, and now it's still live. The only card you can get over it is Gamma. And you pray that the virtual player doesn't have Ash in their hand because it would be busted, and they probably do.
The thing, I hate Ash and Gamma because I'm like, you can just use Gamma again.
I know, but like if it's to like ensure that VFD goes through, then I would Ash the Gamma, because it means for the rest of the turn they can't use Gamma. Yeah. All right. That is it for our ban list prediction. I know this one ran a little bit long. There'll be timestamps on the bottom. I should have said that in the beginning, but if you liked it, make sure to drop a like, comment, subscribe. This is AkemiTCG, and this is your boy
Patsy.
And it is really late right now. That's why we're a little bit tired, but we will see you guys next time. And fingers crossed, maybe we'll get some hits on this.
Yeah, hopefully you don't agree with any of the stuff he says. See ya.
All right, see you guys.
The world ends now.